It used to be a time when I would come down the streets and you knew me, you'd switch over to the other side of the street. Not because you're scared of me, but because you didn't want to hear the jazz of me trying to talk you out of some money. I ended up, needless to say, at odds with the law. We'll get out, I'll be good for a minute. And then the same thing would happen again. Them old friends and them old places and them old things. And next thing you know, I'll go back again for a total of 23 years. I lost my family. One time when I got busted, it was all over the news. And because, they're not the kind of kids who were, oh, that's my dad right there. He is a real criminal. He's a gangster. They're the kind of say, man, Dad, not again.
It started after a brief stint in the Navy. While I was there, someone had introduced me to some over-the-counter drugs. And then from there, it just kind of started a love affair, which progressed to more dangerous drugs. I think I was about 25 when I realized that this wasn't fun anymore. And this last time, I just lost my apartment, was facing homelessness, and my mother had reached out to me and she said, I really want you to be successful. And I squandered almost every opportunity they gave me. And so this was kind of like a last-ditch effort to see if Jackie wants to save her own life.
I got a pretty sizable insurance settlement, and I quit my job. I just started partying. I was drinking constantly. I mean, all day, every day. Lots of drugs, lots of clubs, lots of partying, stuff like that. And then by the time the money ran out, I really couldn't stop drinking. And I ended up homeless and panhandling. Had several suicide attempts. And then my last one was very close to successful. I was in a coma for almost 5 days.
Life before the mission was chaotic. I was spiritually lost. I put my addiction first. Someone tried to rob me and I ended up getting shot. And the bullet went straight through my stomach fat. And that had to be some divine intervention there.
I grew up on a farm, and I started drinking and drugging at a young age. You know what I'm saying? There was not much to do. But I was always the outsider, just never fit in, just was something missing. In my early 30s, I was diagnosed as being bipolar. And they put me on medication. And with the drinking and the medication, it was just brutal. About 6 years ago, my wife and I separated. I'd been married 40 years in June. And she was my everything. I had my own business. I lost my house, I lost everything. Tried to kill myself twice, didn't work. So about 2 years ago, I took off on a mission to Las Vegas, and I said I was either gonna live or die there.
My early life was full of violence. It got chaotic, and it was very chaotic in the house, and everybody was basically fighting for themselves. I felt as if I did not leave there, I was gonna die. Using was my solution. I needed that to make those noises and all that stuff just quiet down a little bit.
I've used drugs and alcohol running around the country on different carnivals, off and on pretty much my entire life. Entertaining kids, because that's what my life was. My entire life has been entertaining families walking by. And I was quite good at it. Being able to keep up with the 20-year-olds out on the carnival was a little bit more of a struggle, trying to do 16-hour work days at a time. So I started using methamphetamines to be able to prolong and be able to keep up with them. It was like I was grandfathered into doing drugs on their carnivals while everybody else got drug tests. Leave him alone, let him do what he does, he makes money. However, that went away. When you're making a bunch of fare boards mad across the country, it doesn't exactly go in your favor. My daughter had gotten hurt She was totally beaten. So after she got hurt, I really fell off into the alcohol and the drugs really bad. That's when I started using constantly, not stopping. You feel less of a person when you can't, you say, protect your children. When I was 12, my stepdad passed away. You know, and you pray to God back then, and he still died. So I just started hating God. It wasn't that I didn't believe in a God, I just hated God. What type of God takes this away? And then years later, my daughter gets hurt. What type of God lets a 14-month-old child get beat down by a full-grown man? I just had a hate. I had a hate for anybody that really believed in God. Everybody here allowed me to have time to heal. I didn't allow myself that time by drinking and using because I kept it pushed back. That was my solution. Another guy in the program, Robert, he actually was my partner that we sat back and we complained to each other about everything. And we both had made plans to take off and leave a couple of times. Jump in his car and ride out, you know. And by the grace of God, we decided not to, and we stuck around, and we both are going to walk across the stage together.
Within 2 months, they've got me off all the depression medication. I was misdiagnosed. I'm not bipolar. I found Christ about 6 months into my journey here, and my life has changed tremendously. I've mended the bridges with my family. The sky is blue. The sun is shining. It's incredible to be misdiagnosed for 25 years of your life. And in trying to drown it with alcohol, the feelings, the medication even made it worse. If it would have been for the mission, I don't know where I'd be. You know, I really don't. I'd be dead.
But everyone here was just so warm and inviting. You know, they ushered me in, they closed their arms around me, and they made me feel like I wasn't just another junkie. They made me feel like I'm a daughter of God.
When I came in the door, staff had some women help me, my roommate helped me put myself in my room, showed me, and I felt good. And I was definitely grateful to see a bed, a real bed, you know, because it had been 5 years.
It was a weird feeling to have all these people be so nice right away. And usually, because people, when they want something from you, and to be honest, they did want something, but they wanted a friendship. They say all the time it changes lives. That's just a lower level of what it really does. Because I know for me and for a lot of my brothers in the program, it saved our lives.
It gave me an opportunity to look back on my life, and I can actually see where God intervened through a lot of things that happened to me. When I experienced the Genesis process here, it blew my mind, because I was thinking about stuff that I had forgotten, buried, and it came back up, and had to talk about it, deal with it, write on it, and I tell you, it was an epiphany.
I owe the mission my life at this point. They allowed me to come in. I'm appreciative for everything that they've done. I'm grateful.
I'm grateful for everything God has done for me and through His people, because I can't do nothing by myself. I realized that life is a team sport.
I have people to turn to. I made friends. Like I said, the main thing is I have a God in my life today that I believe in and I can trust, and He loves me, and I've been forgiven, and I have a chance.
Everything that the enemy gives you, it's a trick in order to keep you away from God, and I know this now.
I'm a new creation in Christ. I'm not the old person I used to be, and I think that's without me having to say anything. I think people are starting to see that.
Before broken, hopeless, lost, frightened, and now I'm happy. I'm blessed. I'm renewed, transformed.
I have a level of joy that it kind of transcends. it's more than happiness. And I wasn't that person before.
I see God working here. God is here in this place.